Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a brilliant chess battle packed with tactics, strategy, and surprises. Let's dive right in. Wesley opens with d4, the classic spear thrust of the queen's pawn, claiming central control and inviting a positional battle right from move 1. Shirov replies with d5, firm and solid, setting up a mirror front to contest the very heart of the board. Wesley pushes c4. The queen's gambit arises, a test of black's courage and strategic willpower. Shirov calmly answers checks, entering the Slav defense, a fortress of patience and precision. Wesley develops n-if3. The knight leaps into action, eyeing the f5 square and guarding his precious center. Shirov mirrors with nf6. Both sides now have their knights ready to duel in the midfield. Wesley plays e3, supporting the c4 pawn, preparing smooth development with calm confidence. Shirov replies e6. Symmetry reigns. Both armies are setting up for a cold war in the center. Wesley expands with b3, a refined touch, preparing to fianchetto his bishop and add depth to his structure. Shirov develops nbd7, connecting knights, tightening his defense, waiting for the right moment to strike. Wesley's bishop goes to d3. The light-squared guardian aims at black's kingside, sensing future storms. Shirov answers b6. Bishop faces bishop. Both eyes locked across the board like rival generals. Wesley fianchettos bb2. The long diagonal is now glowing with potential energy, pointing at Shirov's camp. Shirov plays qe7. Subtle and flexible, perhaps dreaming of kingside safety or central tension later. Wesley thrusts n5. The knight plants itself proudly in enemy territory, challenging Shirov's coordination. Penduo, penye. Shirov replies bb4 e2, a cheeky check, trying to provoke weakness or force simplification. Wesley retreats nd2, calm under pressure, blocking the check and keeping harmony intact. Shirov captures nc5, a trade to remove the annoying knight and reduce the central pressure. Wesley recaptures dx5. The pawn takes over the outpost, still holding that bold spirit of control. Shirov pushes n7. Reorganizing his forces, hoping to exploit light squares and free his position. Wesley strikes with a3, chasing the dark bishop away, showing no fear of confrontation. Shirov steps back b5. The bishop keeps its diagonal alive, retreating but still lurking dangerously. Wesley castles kingside. Safety achieved. Rook connected. 1. The real battle is about to begin. Shirov plays f6, a sharp move, testing the pawn on f5 and seeking counterplay in the center. Wesley's knight jumps to f3, regrouping for defense and eyeing the key f5 square again. Shirov develops b7, pulling back to regroup, perhaps dreaming of a future f5 break. Wesley exchanges xf6. The pawn captures, opening lines and softening Shirov's structure. Shirov retakes nxf6, keeping harmony, though his kingside begins to feel slightly airy. Wesley's knight dashes to f5. The spear returns. That square becomes his personal fortress. Shirov Castles kingside, safety at last. Though danger may be lurking under the surface. Wesley pushes, Fowler, full steam ahead. Storming the kingside with fearless energy. Shirov calmly plays bd7, reinforcing his wall. But Wesley's attack is gaining momentum. Wesley lifts his rook, rf3. Oh. The famous rook swing. Hedinoven septin, penyas semokuruin a canon. Preparing the ultimate kingside assault. Shirov responds b8, quiet but uneasy. Trying to defend before the storm hits. Wesley brings his queen to c2, aiming across the board. Uniting forces for the final push. Shirov exchanges bsf5. He removes the bold knight, hoping to defuse the flames. Wesley recaptures bxf5. His bishop now rules the center, glowing with power and intent. Shirov counters na4. A knight jumps into the fray. Sharp and tactical. Testing white's coordination. Wesley captures bx4, cool and precise. Cutting down the intruder before it can wreak havoc. Shirov recaptures d4, a clean exchange. Trying to simplify the chaos. But the tension refuses to fade. Wesley brings f1. Doubling rooks is on his mind. The storm on the king's side is far from over. Shirov plays bg6, placing the bishop on its ideal diagonal. Both defensive and menacing at once. Wesley pushes c5, breaking open the queenside, showing that his aggression spans the entire board. Shirov counters f8, mobilizing his heavy artillery to stand tall in the center. Wesley plants bd6, a superb outpost. The bishop drills straight into black structure. Shirov brings the queen to f7, connecting forces, but also hinting at nervousness around his king. Wesley centralizes with Radon, doubling the rooks, building a full war machine on the d-file. Shirov retreats bf5, looking for stability, guarding weak points while waiting for counterchances. Wesley pushes d4, an active rook lift, threatening invasion and spinning pressure everywhere. Shirov meets it with rd7, stacking rooks defensively, bracing for the incoming assault. Wesley calmly plays h3, giving his king breathing room, but still keeping fire in his eyes. Shirov responds ha5, a brave push, staking his claim and hinting at counterplay of his own. Wesley doubles the rook's f-tone. The battle lines are drawn, and the d-file burns like a laser. Shirov's queen slides to g6, aiming at white's kingside, ready for tricks and counterpunches. Wesley's king steps to h2, safety first, tucking himself away before unleashing chaos. Shirov pushes h4. The pawn storm begins. Black refuses to stay passive any longer. Wesley's queen rises to f2, aligning with his rooks, forming a deadly battery of precision. Shirov responds q5, countering with boldness, keeping pressure and pinning hope on dark square tactics. Wesley coolly plays roam 2, preparing coordination and guarding the second rank like a general tightening lines. Shirov slides his king to 7, nervous movement, expecting thunder soon to strike. Wesley shifts b5, bishop eyes the black king directly. The battlefield starts to smoke. Shirov develops RFA7, reinforcing the defense, building a shield of steel in front of his monarch. Wesley raises the tension with RD7. The rook invades deep, right into Shirov's camp. Sparks flying. Shirov counters with Rafate, doubling rooks in defense, showing grit under siege. Wesley calmly reorganizes R2-6, relentless. His rooks march like tanks, crushing everything in sight. Shirov's king shuffles to gate, retreating into the bunker. As the white storm closes in, Wesley trades Alexei 7, slicing open the first line of defense. A chilling precision strike. Shirov recaptures Alexei 7, forced to plug the gap. But his fortress now leaks from every wall. Wesley brings R8, a thunderbolt check, forcing the black king into the corner. Shirov moves Takh7, retreating deeper. But danger lurks everywhere. Wesley pushes A4. The queenside pawn rolls forward, preparing the second wave of destruction. Shirov replies A6, matching the move, trying to contain white's expansion. Wesley plays Kione, switching focus, planning to pierce black's weak, dark squares. Shirov places his bishop on G6, a defensive piece. But it feels like a lonely guardian in a burning castle. Wesley's king advances to Gon, calm before the storm, centralizing slowly for the final blow. Shirov mirrors B5, shuffling for air. But white's grip tightens like a vice. Wesley raises his queen to F2, again, aligning for the ultimate breakthrough. Shirov responds BG6, repeating moves. But tension only grows heavier in the air. Wesley's king steps to F1. He begins the royal march, calmly preparing to support his final assault. Shirov answers RF5. The rook shifts like a guardian, trying to hold the trembling castle together. Wesley advances Kione. The white monarch steps into the center, bold and strategic. Shirov's queen dives to G6, sharp as a blade, seeking counterchances with check ideas in mind. Wesley lifts his queen QJ6, slicing lines open, ready for surgical strikes. Shirov's reply QG3T, a desperate check, hoping to delay the inevitable. Wesley steps calmly QF2, precision incarnate, neutralizing threats and sharpening his edge. Shirov places B5, a last-stand bishop, clinging to hopes of dark square salvation. Wesley captures RxB7, the rook tears down the pawn wall, looting the queenside with ruthless accuracy. Shirov brings RFA7, reinforcing his lines. But every defense now costs him dearly. Wesley trades queens, QSGs3, simplification on his terms. The endgame comes under his control. Shirov recaptures HXD3, forced and fragile. His structure now shattered beyond repair. Wesley continues with RB6. The rook dominates the 6th rank, restricting every black piece. Shirov pushes RD7. He's clinging to order, building one last line of resistance. Wesley plants BD6. Bishop anchors the position, cutting off every escape route. Shirov answers F5. His final pawn break. throwing one last punch before the fall. Wesley replies F5, cool and deadly, capturing without hesitation, exposing everything. Shirov swings RFS7, searching for counterplay. But his hopes grow thinner by the move. Wesley counters E6. The pawn turns into a monster. Unstoppable and merciless. Shirov pushes RF2, desperate to distract. But the end draws near. Wesley takes BXG3, harvesting material, preparing to escort his pawns forward. Shirov captures RxG2. He snatches back, trying to stay alive by tactics alone. Wesley pushes B4. His bishop stands proud, locking all dark squares in silence. Shirov advances G5. He starts a pawn storm. But it's too little. Too late. Wesley slides Kfone, cool repositioning, the calm before the finishing blow. Shirov counters RCT2. His rook tries to stay active, but chaos surrounds him. Wesley strikes BXE55, cutting down the last spear, opening the king's cage completely. Shirov recaptures REXX5, a temporary gain, but his pieces are out of sync. Wesley pushes H4. Another front opens. Every pawn now sings of victory. Shirov's king steps to G6, rushing toward the center of the storm. But too late to save the day. Wesley pushes E7. The pawn rises like a comet, one step from glory. Shirov brings Kefiv. The king tries to block the inevitable with pure bravery. Wesley plays rebate, smooth and confident, setting the final trap. Shirov answers Re5, a shield move, but one that barely buys a moment of time. Wesley checks our fight. Thunder cracks across the board. The black king must move. Shirov plays KG4, walking into the storm, fearless, yet doomed. Wesley pushes KJ2A. The white king joins the battlefield, majestic and unstoppable. Shirov braves KJ4. The black king storms forward into enemy lines, desperate for activity. A nerve-wracking gamble that seeks tricks but walks straight into Wesley's tightening net. Wesley calmly plays KJ2. The white king steps up like a veteran general, sealing escape routes and turning Shirov's last hopes into dust. Precision over panic. Game over. Penimorphis. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.